I get read as gay a lot. And it's really funny to me because people never consider that I might be trans. Now, this happens a lot more on the East Coast, specifically in Jacksonville, Florida, where I'm from, and where I am right now. And when I encounter people that do not know, specifically I'm talking about when I meet new people for the first time through friends, or actually just, just randomly, I often find that women, and dudes actually, read me as gay. And I think this is for a number of reasons. I mean, I do identify as queer, and that's the frustrating thing. As soon as I say I'm queer, they think I'm gay and don't understand how I can date women, and they just don't get it. So I don't often describe myself as queer to people here. I don't describe my sexuality at all. That's kind of the point of the story I'm going to share with you. That being said, I don't mind, or it doesn't bother me to be read as gay. I find a lot of trans guys who date women get read as gay. I think it's partly due to our socialization, being more effeminate in our ways, or talking with our hands like I do. Because we're socialized as female, we're raised to be okay with having emotions and expressing them and being intimate with your friends without necessarily being sexual. So women, I think, often see this as being gay. And I do definitely act kind of, fabulous a lot. And I do it to also see how people will read me. And just kind of how gender is fluid, sexuality is fluid. And I talked about finding myself more attracted to men, but I still don't have that, sexual attraction. It's definitely a physical attraction. I'll see a dude rip off a shirt and I'll be like, huh. And I'm like, why am I looking at a dude? But just sexually, I don't know. That piece of the puzzle's not there yet. I was in a situation recently where I met a friend of some friends, and we hung out, whatever, all of us, and now she thinks I'm gay, and she's like, I think Charlie's gay, but he just doesn't know it, maybe he needs to meet, a gay person. And this is so funny for me to hear, because I'm like, I'm so queer, I'm a transsexual, I know more about LGBTQ whatever stuff than all of them combined, and it's just really funny that it would just never cross their mind that I was trans, and that, maybe I need to meet a gay person to know. It's not that they have a problem with being gay, but it's being trans is not even on their radar. It's oh, he must be gay. No one thinks maybe he's different, and he just likes musicals and baking, but yet he still likes to sleep with women. People don't come to these conclusions. That's another thing, we don't appear on the radar. So, in a way, it makes me feel like my identity is invisible, because sometimes I just don't want people to know I'm trans, but I don't try to act straight, even though I've only dated women, but I don't know, the attraction to men has been more recent. So I've only dated women, and it's really funny for me to think that people think that I'm a gay guy in denial, I'm almost 30, and I just don't know it yet. And it's no, I've done so much processing on gender and sexuality and everything else that it's you don't even know. But I just feel I wish there was room for that experience where it's no, I'm definitely a dude, I date women, I would totally be open to dating a man. Really, I'm just more attracted to intellect, and I don't know, I'm just so much more emotionally attracted to people than I am sexually attracted to them. And that also, I'm I don't know, that's just a whole other area of processing I don't want to go into. I think I also feel kind of frustrated and confined by, these black and white binary terms that the majority, or at least the majority it seems, people have, male, female, gay, or straight. There's nothing in the middle. It's funny that people aren't oh, maybe he's bi, because he talks about ex-girlfriends, but he acts kind of flamboyant. I don't know, that's a whole other thing, biphobia. But it's like, why do things have to be like that? Why do I have to label? I feel so limited. Like, oh, just because maybe I'm a little more expressive or sensitive than most men, why does that make me gay? I know plenty of gay men that aren't necessarily the most emotionally aware and whatnot. I don't know, the stereotypes are so, and I've been reading a lot about masculinity lately, masculinity and femininity, and it's just, basically, people are saying, it's like, it's socially constructed, these things. Really, what is masculinity? What is femininity? We've assigned these roles to genders, but men too can be nurturers and stuff, and I'm tired of, just because I don't want to act like a typical asshole straight man, that, I get read as gay. Like, why can't there be straight men, trans or not, that are just want to sit inside and read, and that are feminist, and would rather go to an art museum than a football game? It's just so annoying that you get read as gay for those types of things. And I'm not trying to say, like, it bothers me that I get read as gay. It's, what bothers me more is the limited thinking that people just, it has to be either this or that, this or that. Like, the idea of genderqueer people is just something so foreign to them, and I think people have this idea that transsexuals transition and they want to be just like a male person or a female person, and they don't realize that a person might be comfortable not transitioning fully in their eyes, like getting lower surgery and doing all that, or that a person might not want surgery or hormones at all. It's just, I feel like having to check these boxes and fit in one thing and having these labels just creates so much anxiety, and if you don't fit somewhere, people don't know what to do with you, and it's really frustrating for them. It's just like, why can't I just be me without, is he gay? Like, I don't think he knows yet and stuff, and it makes me just want to tell her that I'm trans and what's up, but then it's like, just sometimes answering like all the questions and rehashing it really is tedious and hard and difficult and even triggering. It's not just like, oh, I don't want to go through the educational process. It's hard and it's hurtful sometimes. Like, I'm still working on my book that it's on my blog, Charlie Begins, Tumblr, and I stopped working on it for a while because it was so hard to go back and read these things from like 2005, 2006 and just see like how rough things were. It was just, I don't even know, but in other ways it's so good and healing in a way, even though difficult to read, because I can see how far I've come, because I'm reading letters where my mother banned me from holidays, and now she calls me Charles, and it's no big deal. But this is all over the place. Basically, I get read as gay a lot. I think that happens to a lot of trans guys who date women just because of the way we are, and I don't know, one time a girl said she thought I was gay because I was clean, and I was like, what do you mean? She's like, because straight guys don't take showers. I was like, that may have been true for the straight guys you dated, but I definitely know a lot of non-trans straight guys that shower. You just can't generalize any group of people, whether it be a racial minority or a sexual minority. It's just frustrating. I wish we could just break down these walls and not feel like we have to fit into a box and not have to pick one thing necessarily. And like, I don't know, if I want to bake and be a housewife, I'm still a dude and I shouldn't have stayed a woman or whatever. Like, that's just me and that's what I want to do. I don't know if it's in terms of my gender, being this long into my transition, or if it's just that I'm older and just kind of like not really giving a crap what people think. But it also is bothersome because it makes it hard for people. It makes it hard for people that are different in any way, because people just have to fit you in some kind of box. And it's so hard for people who want to compartmentalize and label everything to change and move forward with that. I mean, it's taken me, a person that has gone through transition years, to kind of finally come to this. I don't know, I think I embodied it before I transitioned too. Like, when I was soda pop, I was obviously born female and in a female body and didn't have the hormonal or surgical changes I have now, but I just was like this androgynous person that just kind of embodied both masculine and feminine. It was really just kind of this more zen being, and sometimes I felt more comfortable with myself then, but on the other hand, very uncomfortable and like always wanting a penis and to be the boy and stuff. So I just feel like if I could go back to that balance, that harmony of just masculine and feminine, I would feel better. And that's what a lot of these masculinity books are talking about, that In order to be whole as a male human being, you also have to incorporate these feminine attributes, and being assigned female at birth, it's not really that bruising to my ego to think of incorporating feminine values and traits into my personality and into the way I navigate the world. So I feel like I'm more open to that, and it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm not a man if I don't do that, because I've dealt with all that I'm not a man crap, because, I mean, being trans is just another way of being male or female or human. It's just a different path to getting there. So I know my thoughts are scattered and kind of random, but I've been doing a lot of reading on all kinds of things, like this masculinity and feminism and racism stuff, and doing so much thinking, and sometimes just talking it out and random stream of consciousness is the best way to get it out. I don't know, sometimes I just feel pressured to make these videos that are perfectly structured and stuff, and then I never make it because it's just like too much. Like, I just want it to be so perfect, I never do it. So I'm trying to be better at putting videos out there, and I guess they're just going to have to be random. But on a random note, I got this book today, Hung Jury. It's Testimonies of Genital Surgery by Transsexual Men. I will put a link to where you can get it online. Thank you, Chase, for sending it to me. He is a fellow YouTube vlogger. I do not know how to say his YouTube name, though, but thank you, I appreciate it. I can't wait to read it, because I'm still processing July, when I went with Troy to have his phalloplasty with Dr. Crane in San Francisco. That was quite an experience, and there's still some things I'm processing with that, and it will be interesting to read these accounts and then compare them to my experience I had as his caregiver. So I hope you all have a good weekend. Thanks for bearing with me. Take it easy. Peace.